Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. It is Snapshot 19w07a and you probably came here to see foxes, right? Well, I'm going to give you some foxes. Maybe just too many foxes. That's a silly amount of foxes behind me. Wow, look at these gorgeous derpy looking creatures. We've been waiting to see these for a while, right? It was announced at Minecon Earth when the taiga biome was picked as the winner, and the fox was going to be a mob that was added to spice up that biome. But before we get into the details about the fox, we're going to check out a couple other things added in this snapshot. So here we are on Minecraft.net checking out the patch notes for this snapshot. As you'll see, there is very little to it. We've got the fox and these two other things. We're going to jump into the game and check them out, but I have something very cool to show you. So the game is going to load up with a custom splash screen, and there it goes, and there it is. That is a little bit of fan art that I picked out to demonstrate this. You see the red box? That's the area that you can change. There is an image file that has the Mojang logo, and with a resource pack, you can actually change it and make your own loading screen for Minecraft, which is really cool. And that image is this one right here, mojang.png. So if you were to create a resource pack inside of the Minecraft folder, there is textures, the GUI, the title, and there is that image. That's the one that you want to edit. Now you may have also noticed inside of this texture pack we have something for paintings, and that's because the paintings used to be just one file, and now they've actually been separated into separate files, and they've all been given names as well. Now, unfortunately, we can't add any additional paintings of our own, but the paintings can now be animated. Look at that right there. Oh my goodness me. No mods, just a resource pack. That's right, paintings now support animations, and that animation is particularly hilarious. So I know you want foxes, but there's one more thing from the patch notes. In fact, there's going to be a few things later on in this video as well from the previous snapshots, but let's press Control and B.
Narrator narrates all.
Whoa, we have enabled the narrator. Now, the narrator will support what you type in chat, so I'm going to put hello.
xisumavoid says hello.
Wonderful, but now it's going to support what you hover over when you're in a menu. So we can go into Options.
Options, button.
And it will say button every single time, which I think could probably be changed.
Language, button.
Now you're probably thinking, but Asuma, will the narrator talk like a pirate?
Plundered button.
The answer is, of course, yes.
Customize your clothes.
That's
button.
right. Yeah.
Tunes and noises.
It doesn't actually
button.
sound very piratey, does it? So my friends, it is time for me to tell you all about the fox, the new mob added in this snapshot. And I've spent some time poking around, investigating, figuring things out about this new mob. And I've got a lot of stuff to tell you, and I don't know exactly in which order we're going to go through all of this. But first of all, let's comment on the looks of the fox. You'll notice that one has an egg in its mouth. We'll talk about that later on. That guy's got some leather. They are cute and adorable and also very derpy. A nice mixture of all three. I think these look fantastic, and everyone's always got opinions. I'd just like to embrace this new mob. It's always great when a new one gets added into the game. And right there, as you see, we have baby foxes as well. Of course, we can spawn them just by clicking on that fox. Now, we are in a taiga biome, and this is one of the places, one of two places, which I found that they can spawn. And when they spawn, they do so like passive mobs. That means when the world generates and chunks are generated, they can be populated with foxes. But they won't spawn at night like hostile mobs do. And I'm pretty sure they spawn like passive mobs. The other place we can find foxes is in the snowy biome. And that's right, as you saw in the beginning of the video, there is a snowy variant of the fox. Again, very adorable and very derpy. I'm loving the look of these creatures. Now I have a spawn egg in my hand, and as you'll see, even though we're in a snowy biome, it spawns a regular fox. Just something that I wanted to point out, but they do spawn naturally like this in the snowy biomes. So when exploring, I found the foxes spawning in packs, sometimes on their own, but usually in groups of 2 to 4, and often with little babies as well. Now, as we spawn them in here, you're going to see them do this sitting pose, and then after a little while, they're going to go and take a nap under a tree, and that's because they have 2 different types of pose, apart from their regular one, and it also says on the patch notes that they are nocturnal, so they will find refuge underneath the leaves of a tree, and they will go into this sleeping mode, which just looks lovely. Ah, how cute and adorable. Is there like some slight movement going on there as well? There is. The head was very gently bobbing up and down, and something has scared them. Maybe that was me moving around. Now, another thing we've seen so far is them spawning with items in their mouth. That one has a rabbit hide right there, and they can spawn with all sorts of items in their mouth, actually. I've seen emeralds even, some cooked pork chops, leather, rabbit hides. We've seen eggs, and feathers was the other one, yeah. Feathers is the other item they can spawn within their mouth, as evidence of by this little fella. So I'm going to grab some valuable items here and just throw them down on the ground and spawn a little fox in there. And that one actually had something already in its mouth, and so did that one. Jeez, what were the odds of that? Okay, you don't, so I'm going to throw items at you, and you're going to pick it up and put it in your mouth. Now notice how it threw a few back on the ground, and now I've got 63. That's because it can only hold one item at a time, and as far as I can tell, it will pretty much hold any item in its mouth. So just like the player, the wolf has an inventory, and in that inventory it has 2 hand slots, which is the same as the item I'd be holding, and my offhand, and it can load just a single item inside of that. Now maybe using commands you could actually load extra ones, but basically they only pick up one item and they hold it in a hand slot. All of that, though, is the technical behind-the-scenes stuff, which we can actually see by using commands, so we can sort of scan this thing for all of its data. And this is how I've learned that it has 10 hearts of health, just like the player has. And it'll also attack for 1 heart of damage. Now, the only mob I've seen it attack is the chicken, and even when we attack it, it would never attack me back. You'll have to take my word for it, because I punched a lot of foxes today. And as you can see, we can kind of get near to them as long as we're sneaking. If I go out of sneak mode, and yeah, I send them on their way, basically. So let's try that again. Yep, look at this. Holding down sneak is the way to go. So you got to sneak when you're near the foxes. And as soon as I let go of shift, they run off again. While we're in the act of sneaking, let's find 2 of them to breed. Can you be bred when you're sleeping? You can. If we get 2 of them to breed, they'll make an offspring, and that offspring will trust us forever, which I believe means this one is now our pet, or perhaps just a friend, although immediately it has run away. Okay, you can't escape me this time. I want to find out what happens with this offspring. Apparently, it will trust me forever. Okay, I'm feeding this one berries, which I believe is just going to speed up the process of it growing into an adult. So I'm not seeing anything special at the moment. I've name tagged the one that I raised into an adult, but it just behaves like the other ones, so I'm not sure. Now, the whole time the wolf was in that pen, it didn't jump out, did it? It didn't try to make an escape at all. The wolf can actually jump really high, but it only does this when it attacks. So we're going to put a chicken here, and eventually they'll figure out it's on the other side of the fence. And they might go for it, or they might not. The other ones are beating them to it. Seems that they are rather fussy about when they want to jump if there are fences in the way, but I've seen one attempt to get a chicken. So let's plant a few down around here, and hopefully we'll see them jump in. There we go. Finally you jumped over. That looked like it was about 3 or 4 blocks up into the air. That's a very high jump they've got. Okay, the little ones don't jump like the adults. In fact, they don't even hunt. They were just running in a similar direction. As you can see, it goes straight past the chicken, goes down here, and yeah, it's not interested. Although it did seek out and pick up that egg, so perhaps that's something that these animals will do. They'll just pick up items if they're on the ground. And I know that we've established that already, but let's say we spawn some foxes just back here. Will they see the items on the ground and seek them out? Oh, you're going for it. Yep, you just picked up one, so did that one over there. Okay, I think 3 of them just came in and picked up the eggs. Alright, so they like to pick up items that are lying on the ground. That is such a nice feature. Why is there wheat in front of my berry bush? It's because a naughty fox came over here and harvested the bush, and it actually dropped the wheat that it had in its mouth. Let's spawn another one. You've got an empty mouth. You've got some leather in, so maybe we can demonstrate this again. Okay, so that one's run over to the bush and harvested it. So is this one, and it drops out its leather as well. And that, my friends, is fantastic. And possibly, maybe with some minecart hoppers and whatnot, a way to automate a farm like this, using the wolves to harvest them. I love the idea of it. It sounds ever so cool. The fox, unfortunately, has a foe in the wolf. As you can see here, this one's looking pretty angry and chasing down a fox. The thing is, though, the fox is faster, so most of the time it will be able to get away unless it gets into a corner it can't escape from. The patch notes also say that you may find a fox exploring a village at night time. Can't really tell you too much else than that, because I've visited a few villages at night. Haven't found any foxes there. I spawned this one in myself, and doing some crude experimentation, it didn't look like the foxes were actually drawn to the village. You know, some of them would just path in randomly, and some of them would path in the opposite direction. So I don't really know what to make of that patch note. Now, these may look like failed experiments to figure out how high the wolves will jump, but I've sussed it out. They could probably jump over about 4 blocks. The thing is, there needs to be a 1 block gap for them to jump over. So now we're going to see some jumping animations, maybe if we're lucky. There we go. So we see that they're jumping now, right? But it'll only happen when there's 1 block in front of them. I think Mojang should update this so they could actually jump as high as they can do. That would be really cool if we saw them jumping over a 4 block wall. Now, I did have some things I missed from previous Snapshot videos to show you, but I'm very pressed for time at the moment, and we've covered pretty much all that I know about the foxes, maybe with exception to sounds. So in the next video, I will set up some command blocks and we will listen to each of the sounds nice and loud. But you've probably heard them throughout this video, and they do sound really cool, don't they? So that brings us to the end of this Snapshot video. If you have enjoyed it, then leave a like as always. Thank you so much for your support on this channel, and I'll be seeing you next week with another Snapshot video. So ciao for now. Bye-bye.